I think it was a very enlightening discussion on World War One. Just 2 points. I think the difference is also that today the world is with rules when there were no rules 100 years ago, and some countries are now violating international laws and regulations. That's point one. Point two, of course, you know, the nuclear deterrence. The existence of that makes a big difference. I think that war should be avoided, as many of you have said. But two things have to be kept in mind. One is that some countries may not think that way and use force not as only a deterrence, but a little bit more with little hesitation. And the second point is that we should also keep in mind the lesson of World War II, the Munich conference as well. As for our relations with China, I think three things are important from our side. No compromise, no taken off guard, and not to provocate. No provocation from our side. And I think China has a lot of frustration in the country, so they may need something as well, but as long as US is trustworthy, I think Japanese in general would not think that we have to really change the policy. As for ICJ, as you have rightly said, we think that this has been our land all the way, and US has returned this to us after Okinawa reversion. There's no reason why we have to negotiate this on that. And on Chinese military, one thing we have to say is that we often discuss, Japanese or Americans say that Chinese military needs a bit more transparency. This is true, but that's not the real issue. What the real issue is the size, sheer size of the military. It's growing, rapidity in growing, and I think we have to sometimes be very clear on that, not only saying the very diplomatic word of transparency. Thank you very much for taking time.
Ambassador, but let me ask you this. There's obviously a dispute about these islands. And generally speaking, in our societies, at least domestically, if there's a dispute, you go to court. You don't say, well, I'm there, we reject the other side's claim, and we're not going to be willing to submit it to a court of law. Why wouldn't Japan be willing to do that? I mean, why shouldn't, well, for that matter, any other country, say, yeah, we'll go to court and let the International Court of Justice decide this? I mean, isn't that the way these days that in civil society we try to resolve these disputes? You just don't say, hey, we're there, so we're not going to go to court. Why wouldn't Japan or any other country want to do that?
I don't know if that attitude is going to be taken by U.S. government, if U.S. island, which has been in the United States for many years, is just surrounded by some other countries' ships and said that they are their territory. Would you directly go to the international court, or would you say that this has been our land, there's nothing to be disputed? I think maybe I'm wrong, but my hunch, U.S. will not say that, hey, let's discuss this. I think you will say this is our land. I think that's the same as that.
Yeah, but that's the same attitude. If you're going to take that attitude